Yes, I see that, Jim.
Okay. Yeah, mine's not in Chrome. Mine is actually inside of Google Mail, the Google Mail app, so it's just part of Google. So
Yeah, they're doing
mine's
some funky
a
things
little
with their
different.
apps, and yeah, they're trying to change all the different integrations and whatnot. So I don't know, might not seem streamlined right now, but hopefully in the future it might be a little bit better. But okay, it is about 6 o'clock. We might get started here. My name is Daron, K1DBC. I am sharing my screen and my video through one thing here, so you should hopefully see me as well as what I'm showing on the screen here. If the quality degrades too bad, I can just change it to the normal way of doing it. So yeah, as we were kind of discussing, there's a few ways to participate in this evening's meeting. This is similar to our Wednesday night Learning Net. It's just a general place where we can have a casual conversation, discuss ham radio and STEM topics in general, and we have plenty of expertise and experience. So outside of today, we meet on the third Wednesday on the air, and then on third Wednesday we meet here. This is not a net. There's not going to be any check-ins. You don't need to be a ham radio operator. So yeah, you can either put messages into the chat. You can pop in on microphone if you want. Whatever you want. If you want to show and tell, share your screen. If you're working on any projects, let us know. But yeah, this is just a general Q&A for electronics, ham radio, STEM. So with that being said, does anyone have any comments, questions, anything you want to bring up? Let us know.
I do, Doran.
Please, go ahead.
I found this thing on the internet by a company in England called sodabeams.co.uk. It's supposedly a DSP filter. Just wondering if anyone has had any experience with that. They also talk about hooking it up with a LM386 based amplifier. I can share the links in the chat window. If you hang on a minute, I can do that.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, if it's different than what I'm showing here, yeah, feel free to do so, or whatever you want. Yeah, please.
Okay, I put it into a, okay, so here we go. Okay, so minimize that. And where's my chat window here? Oh, down there. So it's I was just wondering if anyone has had any experience with this, because I'm thinking about building one. I mean, purchasing the circuit board from England and then the amplifier from maybe Amazon.
Crickets, you're going to be our beta version.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I know there's a lot of soda activity for sure, and I know that's a fairly popular site too. This module, though, I have not heard of, or the amp I haven't worked with either. But looks like it's like kind of multi-purpose, multi-usage here. Anyone have any comments, questions on general? So this is a I guess what would it's dual bandwidth filter module for SSB and CW. So what does that really do?
Yeah, that's it with the coin there. That's the module. If you scroll back up, you just went past it.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah. Okay. It's let's see here. So you would put this in line
with your speaker.
Yeah, just a comment. I have used that LM386 board or one very much like it off of Amazon or who knows where. It's just an audio amplifier with a volume where you can attach a volume control. Works pretty well. You know, it's sort of a standard integrated circuit audio amplifier.
Okay.
If you want to drive a speaker or some headphones, That would work.
Well, I want to filter out all the noise that I'm hearing in my radio. I live in an apartment, and I'm picking up a lot of noise on the antenna, S9 or above. I don't think it's inside my apartment because as soon as I connect it to a dummy load, the noise disappears.
So you're picking it up from the antenna?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you've got a lot of people around you who have all kinds of noise-making devices.
Yep.
That's
And I
tough.
was thinking that maybe this thing would filter out some of the noise. That's why I wanted to give it a try.
What transceiver do you use?
I have it's a 1980s vintage, a W0TX 930.
So it doesn't have a good noise reduction circuit.
It's got some, but
Not a noise blanker or a noise reduction.
no, not really, other than maybe an adjustable CW filter.
Yeah. That's one of the advantages of some of the newer radios is they have pretty significant noise reduction capabilities. But
Yeah.
you can do that at the audio level if this box does noise reduction. That would be a good thing. If it's just a filter, all you'll be doing is, chopping out lows or highs or both. But you won't really be taking the noise out like a noise reduction circuit would.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I haven't read all the details here of what this thing does. Does it say it does noise reduction, or does it just say it's a filter? Oop, there it is.
Yeah,
Looks like it just says it's a filter.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep myself muted here. Sorry about that. I
don't
searched for
move
reduction.
anything. Oh.
Sorry, there's no reduction there. It found no results on here for reduction.
Yeah, so you might want to look a little farther for a noise reduction circuit kind of box instead of a noise filter, instead of just a filter.
Okay.
I mean, this could help, but it's not going to get rid of noise.
Okay, that's what I wanted to see it. So this is not going to work then.
It'll help a little maybe, but yeah, I'd look a little farther.
Okay. Okay. Thanks, Jim.
Need to do this.
Sure,
This
glad to help.
makes things easier. All right, thanks for that. Yeah, I'm just rearranging here, so I have to keep going back between things like that here. Okay. Yeah, this seems like an elder rig here, but still seems like a pretty good workhorse. Yeah, it looks like you may just need to check into noise reduction filters for
Okay,
CW.
I'll do that.
Reduction filter.
Yeah, stay away from noise blankers. Noise blankers were built to get rid of ignition noise from cars from the 1950s and 60s before they all went electronic and resistive leads and all that kind of stuff. So they get rid of impulses, but they don't get rid of hash noise like you get from your neighbor's LED light bulbs they bought from China. And
Yeah.
What would be a good industry-wide term? Is it would they be known as noise reduction filters, or is there a different term?
That's what they call the button on every radio I've seen. It says noise reduction, or NR.
Okay.
So I think that's the term people use.
Okay, I'll do a Google search on that.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, you'd think you'd be able to kind of hopefully figure that out. And but yeah, some of these have some fairly not archaic terms, but some higher level terminology and what they're mentioned as. But once you find that right term, I'm sure you'll be able to find something. So yeah, sounds good. Yeah, let us know, and hopefully you'll be able to get better. Is it reception and transmission issues that you're having with CW and SSB, or just one or the other?
It's more reception, Doran, than transmission, as far as I know.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah. If anybody has any comments, questions on that, or any other follow-up on that, or anything else, let us know. I am streaming this if you ever want to see it over on YouTube.com. You can search for my name or my call sign, K1DBC, and we do the Wednesday night learning nets, Sunday night nets. If you miss any nets meetings, you can always check on that, and yeah, feel free. With that, though, anybody have any comments, questions, anything that you'd like to bring up for the Elmer session this evening, let us know. Sorry, just rearranging things here. We can bring up what we discussed last Wednesday net. We were discussing Colorado severe weather nets, National Skywarn spotting programs, the upcoming tornado siren tests, DX spotting, friend of the sorry, there's somebody joined. Let me see here. If you're let me just run through the meeting thing here. If you join, feel free to do so with your audio if you want. But when you're not speaking, please try to mute your audio so we're not hearing any background noise there. Perfect. Okay. Sorry. Karen Rucker, friend of the hobby and the our club here, is putting on a presentation, a course here, Introduction Antenna Basics with Karen Rucker on the HackaDay.com, or HackaDay is the name of the blog, but she's going to be giving some introduction to antennas in their course called HackaDayU, which is a alternative grad school for hardware folks, software people, creative thinkers, and engineers. HackaDayU aims to inspire people to gain new skills, grow their careers, and most importantly, have fun learning alongside of experienced engineers. Classes are pay as you wish, with all proceeds going to charities that feed, house, and educate others. Parent company is SupplyFrame. So yeah, you can find more info on her on the Hackaday YouTube. They did a lot of quantum computing lectures, quite a lot of stuff on their Hackaday, their U, and also just any other blogs, things like that. So sorry to hog that up there, but anybody have any other things you want to bring up in regards to that or anything else? Let me know.
This is Barb. I have my hand up.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I didn't notice that. Go ahead, please.
Well, I'm looking at participants, and I'm the only one that has a pin instead of the little dots. And I don't seem to have the same status as the rest of the participants. So if that's not a problem, we'll forget it. And, but if I'm missing something, I'd like to correct it.
Sure, of course. Yeah, you should be seeing my screen, hopefully. I'm sharing my screen and my face. You should hopefully see that. And then outside of that, what you're speaking about, the pin, I believe that's how that should look like. I believe that's what mine looks like. I'm pinned to the top, and then everyone else has those three dots. So I think it's just because I'm sharing my camera right now, I think.
Barb, if you hover over that, it'll show you that you can, it's easy to pin yourself to the main screen or not. So you can click it in.
I did try to do that, and it isn't letting me, so.
Gotcha. The only thing, can you at least, as long as you can see my face and my screen, that's all that's being shared at the moment. Can you see that?
Yes, of course. And
okay. So then you're not missing anything at the moment. Nothing else is being shared.
Okay. I'm just used to being able to see a little bit more. It looks like it's.
Gotcha. I am sharing it a little bit differently this evening. The quality shouldn't hopefully be too terrible. If it is, I can change it. But you should maybe be able to change it to change layout to spotlight.
Yeah, Barb, you see the three vertical dots down in the lower right-hand corner? If you click that and go to change layout, and you can select tiled or spotlight.
And I guess just in general, is the quality of the video okay, or should I switch back to just normal screen sharing?
No, you sound good. It looks good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, no worries. Yeah, glad we could help you out on that. Yeah, if anybody has any technical issues connecting to these meetings, don't ever hesitate to let us know, and we can always help you out. Absolutely. Let me see here. So yeah, we were talking about some DX watching last week, results of that, just different antennas, things like that we were speaking about. We were having some issues with the repeater, very briefly for a few minutes. It was kind of keying up on its own and preventing me from, or anybody from transmitting for just a few seconds, but that was some oddness there. So yeah, I can bring up a few things, but this is all for you all. If you have any comments, questions in regards to electronics, STEM, science, ham radio, anything in regards to the hobby, let me know. Okay. I was just speaking about that HackaDay website. They do have a blog. Very, very cool. HackaDay.com. Let me drop the links of what I've been sharing here so far. There's a link for Karen Rucker. There's the link for the general HackaDay YouTube. Plenty of information there. And then their blog here. A lot of things, electronics related, ham radio being one of them. So there's always some RF stuff in here. Yeah, nothing too much on their front page about RF at the moment, but really, really cool stuff nonetheless. Feel free to jump in any time. Don't ever hesitate to do that, and I'm more than happy to let you in there. Another great blog, definitely RF related, rtl-sdr.com. For software-defined radios. If kind of quick intro to what these are. RTL stands for Realtek, and it was based on this model here, RTL2832U chipset of a. Used to have a nice diagram of it, but it's basically a USB HD over-the-air antenna tuner that was made for European DVB, and then in yeah, here's the origins here. So it was like mid 2000s, 20 or so. They kind of reverse engineered it to get wideband spectrum analysis. So these are really cheap, $20 USB on one side, and you can buy them online. So through these tools, they can do reverse engineering analysis of just different signals around us. So somebody's provided an HD radio decoder. So it's the American FM digital broadcast system that's in place, the protocol that's in place. Commercial, the only available one for us as consumers. Excuse me. And that's why on the ham radio side, we have things like Brandmeister and System Fusion and plenty of things like that, but this is all dictated by the federal government. But somebody has been able to come up with an application to decode it, and you can get album art, interesting things about the metadata about the song and artist, things like that, and then some weather and traffic things. So you can use a cheap, here it is. This is what it looks like, and you can buy them on Amazon. Missing the link here. Yeah, about $26, and you can do a lot of experimentation. It uses SMA, just a general standard connector on that end. Whatever you have with your handheld, same thing with that. So yeah, that was the top story there on that one. Bart, do you want to jump in? Anybody? You don't have to be a ham radio operator. If anybody has any comments, questions, anything, projects you're working on, go ahead.
I got a second question, Doran.
Please.
Okay, I mentioned I live in an apartment. I have a balcony, and I designed and built a ground plane. It's a sheet of aluminum, 24 by 24, and I got a vertical on it. And I got radios coming can I get away on 80 meters with having like 33 feet radials, or do I need to have them extended to 66 feet?
I recently saw somebody who did a test where they used long radials, short radials, and everything in between. And what they discovered was it has more to do with the total length of the wires of all your radials added together than how long any individual one is.
Okay, I got 4 radios.
So if you don't have room for a 30-foot radial, do a 10-foot radial, but do a bunch of them. You know, maybe.
Okay.
That's what this guy's. You know, he laid out a whole bunch of radials, long ones, and then he took those basically away and put out a whole bunch of short ones, and he could see no real difference. He was using whisper to see how far he could receive and send, you know, and it really looked like it doesn't matter, you know, I mean, they have to have some length to them, but it has more to do with the total number of wire, you know, lengths of wire out there, rather than how long any one of them is.
I forgot to mention that coming from the radio is coax, and then it goes to about 4-to-1 balun, I think, and then I got maybe 6 feet of ladder line. So I'm connected to the vertical antenna via ladder line.
That's good.
So I was able to, you know, the internal tuner, I tried 40, 20, 15, and 10. 40, 20, and 10 I could match okay. For some reason on 15 meters, the antenna tuner is oscillating. You know, it's going back and forth a little bit. So I don't know what's causing that.
Yes, that's a little odd. But yeah, I will say this though, the guy did a pretty good test on radials, and I like the fact that he came up with it really has to do with the total length of all the wires added up.
Oh, okay. I'll try that.
So lots of short wires is just as good as a few long wires, and a heck of a lot easier to lay out.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Jim. That's it for my questions, Doran.
Okay, no worries. Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, I'm always learning with this stuff too. It's still I really just need a good basis of just some of this. What is grounding? What are these radials? What is a vertical? I just need to really delve deep into some of these things, because when you guys ask, I deer in the headlights sometimes, but I kind of have to figure it out. But yeah, appreciate Jim stepping in there for you. All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Luckily,
go ahead.
luckily I live in a house and not without an HOA. So my the restrictions on my antennas is my wife, not some HOA organization.
Oop, keyboard. Sounds good. Yeah, that's a pretty often topic that comes up is HOA or covenant restrictions, and stealth antennas and things like that. So yeah, definitely a lot of things buried on the internet, I'm sure, even normally, but especially so with ham radio and some of the engineering terms and concepts and things like that. It might be a little bit difficult to find some of those things, but yeah, just let us know on that
topic.
Yeah, Fred, go ahead.
Yeah, just want to make note. I don't know how many people keep up with the ARRL's On the Air magazine, but boy, the March and April of this year is another good one. They've got a great couple of articles there on basic solar activity and how it relates to our ability to communicate. And let's see, the big picture, our active sun, and they've done an extremely good job of bringing it down to a basic, understandable level. So if you want to get a little bit up on what
ARRL.
it takes there to get your signal to bounce around the globe there for some DX, or even just for local operation there for on the HF bands, boy, take a look at that one. Let's see. Also, they've got the second article here. Here comes the sun, where they get into what to expect here with solar cycle 25. Then they go into buying your first HF radio. Another article, radio technology, antenna gain. Real good article there explaining exactly what antenna gain is and how to take advantage of it. Operating parks on the air. Project build. Ew, this is a cute one. A copper tape antenna for 2 meters. Wow. Copper tape glued to a windowsill and then feed line to your radio for your like your handheld. Boy, that's a good article. Let's see. Remote stations. Learning by doing. Let's see. On the air, and it's the latest March and April issue on the air. And then the last one here, emergency communications, serving your community. So very, very good issue. So definitely get over there and take advantage of it.
A few chats here. I have to
back to net control.
Fred, I apologize about that. The On the Air magazine, a lot of publications here by ARRL. If you are a member, you can get the digital versions online. So as Fred was mentioning, there are plenty of articles. Active Sun, here comes the sun. First HF, antenna gain, parks on the air. So if you have any interest, I think you can get a trial membership, I think, with ARRL potentially for free or fairly reduced cost, or you can at least do month to month. So you can always check into that as well. Thanks for bringing those up.
Doran, I got a comment.
Yeah, go ahead.
Maybe about a year ago, I saw a YouTube video where some hams from California were helping a newly licensed ham in Florida. She lived in an HOA, so what they did is they had like a dipole, that was a trap dipole, with aluminum tubing, and they stuck it in her attic or her crawl space above the ceiling for HF work. And she was able to communicate with a bunch of stations around, at least around the country, and probably farther.
Comment.
Go ahead. Yeah, finding that one would definitely be a little bit difficult. But if you have any info on that, Fred, about trap dipoles in attic, go ahead.
Yeah, speaking of having limited space and being in an HOA, and talking about antennas in the attic, as this new cycle 25 starts to ramp up, we're supposed to be seeing 10 meters get very active. So you want to keep your ear pinned to the radio there for how band conditions start to improve on 10 meters. And that will be a lot of fun, seeing how many contacts and DX you can do on 10 meters. Extremely good band to focus on if you are limited space, because a shorter antenna, but yet being able to really get in there and be active on the HF bands. So might make note of that. Don't necessarily try to build an antenna that takes up the full spectrum. That can be a real challenge. But just focus on, say, 10 meters where you can actually build a full-length dipole. Back to net control.
Yeah, 10 meters was actually open a little bit the last couple of days. So I made a digital contact into South America this afternoon.
I'll have to see if I can dig that up, Doran, and maybe share it next month.
Okay. All right. My name is Drone, call sign K1DBC. Feel free to jump in at any time if you have any comments, questions about ham radio electronics. We have another about 30 minutes or so. Let us know.
I got a question for you.
Oh, hey, Troy. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, hey. I was in a spot where I couldn't be on the Hangout, so I was lurking around in YouTube for a bit. So this weekend I built a tape measure Yagi. Oh, yeah. Just following the one of the online setups, and it was a really fun project to build. But I was actually kind of disappointed with the SWR. When I was done, and just SWR as reported by my Nano V and A, which I guess I've been trusting for a couple of months. So the SWR was, I don't know, 1.5 or so, and yeah, this is the one I followed. This one right here, yeah, and kind of he closes this page saying he gets his SWR down to 1-to-1. Right. And so that's what I was shooting for. It's like, let's get down to perfect. And I didn't get there. And so I'm goofing around with, adjusting the spacing at the driven element up there. I guess two questions. Has anybody else done the tape measure Yagi and had, found a great SWR? And so I should keep monkeying with this thing until I get it. Or the other question is, should I even care? Or, get off to the fox hunt. You'll do just fine at 1.5.
Comment. Yeah, chasing that 1-to-1 is futile. Don't waste your time. If it's 2-to-1 or below, you're doing great. And I mean that is something that's been overrated and overdone for so long. And all it says is that the people doing so don't understand the basics of antennas. And a lot of times, the biggest issues with the 1-to-1, your SWR ratios, you're going to find in your feed line, trying to get a match there between the antenna and the feed line. But don't be consumed by chasing SWR. As long as you're 2-to-1 and below, you're doing great. And if you're doing it for fox hunting, boy, it sounds like you're about to have some fun. So don't get consumed by that. It sounds like you're doing just fine. Don't change the configuration of the antenna. Do it as directed in your article there that you're following there for building it. If that's the way you've got it built, you're right on the money. and don't get overwhelmed with chasing SWR. Just get out there and have some fun.
Fair enough. Thank you, Fred.
Okay, back to net control.
Yeah, no, thanks a lot, Fred. I was getting pretty consumed there. I mean, I was cutting these things down to the 0.5 millimeter. So I was really going for it. I guess when you have the nano VNA, you can't do anything except get consumed about that your little dot on the Smith chart. So I certainly was. But you're right. Just go to the fox hunt, have a good time.
Yeah, and trimming your antenna, you're chasing the wrong going the wrong direction there. Don't mess up your antenna. Usually that SWR has to do more with mismatch between feed line and the antenna. Build it as directed, and I mean, even if it's just kind of in the ballpark, you're going to be just fine. But if you're following the directions, go out there, use it, and enjoy it. Back to net.
All right.
Yeah, one thing about that.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, is you can have a perfectly tuned antenna. It's resonant, that has just resistive, no reactance at all at the frequency you're interested in, but it won't be 50 ohms, let's say. And you'll have an SWR that's not 1-to-1. But you have all the power is going to end up going out the antenna. So it's nothing to worry about. 1.5 is great.
Perfect. Thanks for the follow-up there. Yeah, I'd imagine SWR is one of those long-held things of trying to get that perfect SWR, and especially with tools getting so cheap, and they're fun to play around with and try to get things working precisely. But yeah, as mentioned, for some of these, that absolute precision isn't necessarily needed, especially in a fox hunt. So. Very cool. Yeah, glad to hear all that info there about SWR, about the antenna building there, tape measuring. If you have any other follow-up on that, Troy, go ahead.
Yeah, I think I'm satisfied with it. You know, it was fun to do because did it all with scrap, right? Like truly an old tape measure and random pieces of PVC sitting around and an old piece of LMR 400 that I didn't know what else to do with, but it was too short to do anything real with. So I'm excited for it. Now I got to figure out how the heck these fox hunts work and pull out a paper map for the first time in 20 years. Who knows?
Oh, yeah. And Troy, are you using an SWR analyzer or just an SWR meter, or how are you measuring?
Yeah, good question. I'm using the little nano VNA tool, that little $50 tool.
Yeah, I'll have to look at that. I'm not familiar with that. Is that an antenna analyzer or?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. A real cheap version of it, but pretty interesting. Duran put a picture of one up there a minute ago. But yeah, it's a pretty fun tool.
Interesting. I come from the grid dip meter era.
Okay, very, very cool. Yeah, this would be a vector network analyzer. I was just looking up generalities of one the other day. Instrument that measures the network parameters of electrical networks. Today, network analyzers commonly measure S parameters because reflection and transmission of electrical networks are easy to measure at high frequencies, but there are other parameters such as Y and Z. So yeah, measure S parameters. Yeah, I was delving down into this, and yeah, these can be $10,000-$20,000 machines for professional RF engineers. Probably a lot of people with doing the 5G nowadays and things like that, using tools like this. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff in here, and yeah, we get it for $50. So I can't blame you for trying to at least use the tools that we have nowadays. So yeah, no, very cool. I guess on the topic of box hunts and kind of radar direction finding I brought up on the Learning Net a couple weeks ago. Again, back on this website, RTL-SDR. There's Kraken SDR. It's a passive radar demonstration. It is a let me bring up the original article here. It uses it's a 5-tuner coherent software-defined radio based on these cheap dongles. Perfect. Yeah, I see that in here. Oh, thanks, Jeff. And yeah, they had another one previously. They crowdfunded on CrowdSupply. It went for about $150, $200. Same price range, hopefully, for this one. You can find more info on rtl-sdr.com. And they use a... Gosh, I want to find the original link here. Does a little bit better job of explaining it here. It's really difficult to explain, but it's the original really they used for finding some number stations in Russia. So you can use this, and they have some demonstrations of it finding known locations of repeaters. So using, let me see if I can find the, oh, here it is, I think. They have these 5 antennae on the top of his vehicle, and he's using a laptop and software-defined radio. There was another video showing it actually on his car here. Anyway, yeah, but basically you can use this to find, use it for radio direction finding. So another kind of thing, a tool in the tool chest that we have here. Kraken SDR, if you're interested in it. It's going to be available on crowdsupply.com. No price mentioned yet, but I think, again, 150 to 200 USD might put you up there a little bit a different level than other people. And yeah, I see a couple links. So yeah, thanks Jeff for putting in the information about the general VNA. And then yeah, as Troy mentioned, he and other people, we have some of these. As I mentioned, these are fairly cheap. So, and they've been around for quite a few years now. So some of us, there's quite a few of us that have it in the club, and we're more than welcome to lend them out if you have any interest in that. Either these kinds of things, or the software defined radios that we've been speaking about. Some of us have some spares or things we're not using. So yeah, if you have any interest in this stuff and you want to test things out, let us know. All right, anyone else want to jump in? Any comments, questions, anything you want to bring up in regards to anything we've spoken about so far, or anything else you want to bring up? Go ahead.
Jerome, I wanted to welcome John Portune, who's our guest speaker tonight. You're looking good, John.
Welcome, John. Perfect. Thank you. John, let's see. Pin to screen.
There we go. Now you can probably hear me. Good evening, everyone.
You're loud and clear.
Good. I'm not used to Google Meet yet. I'm a Zoom man so far.
Gotcha.
Well, you're just in time for them to change it on you. I guess they're going to upgrade all the controls and have them display on the bottom bar here soon.
Sorry, I have too many things open on my end here. All right. Yeah, we have about another 15 minutes or so. Yeah, John, welcome to W6 and BC. Yeah, presentation is going to be starting here. Yeah, again, in about 15 minutes on slot antennas. So, pretty interesting.
So I got one for you, Darn. Does anybody want to have a conversation about the FCC's new updated rules regarding RF exposure assessment?
Are they doing it again?
Well, now they're including hams as or amateur radio stations and the need to do an evaluation. They're not automatically exempted.
They've gone around and round on this one over the years. I've done license testing, for years, and it seems like periodically it comes back up. We get a bunch of questions about frying your brain, and then it goes away again.
Yeah, it's interesting because ARRL has some good, documents for doing the evaluation, which reference Table 1, but they don't include Table 1, so you've got to dig for the table that tells you what the exemptions are.
Which, is this part 97 or part 95 was one of those ones?
I just came out here. Let me see if I can find a link.
I know Bofang has come under pressure recently for, I think, radios having FRS abilities, or abilities to transmit outside the ham bands on the same equipment. I know that's been coming up recently.
That's the wrong link. Disregard that one. Like we didn't know we shouldn't use.
Yeah.
Radios and crimes.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
It's the RF exposure link if you can find it.
I like that ARRL bulletin that came in just today, maybe it was, where I guess the ARRL is saying, don't use your radio to commit a crime. Oh, really?
I saw that one too.
Yeah, that was the second time they brought that up. I think one of the earlier ones was some of the earlier riots earlier in the years, and yeah, some of the protests and things like that. People are using RF. It's probably non-hams using it, but unfortunately some hams as well.
There's the link I was looking for during that last one.
Okay.
Comment.
Yeah, go ahead, Fred.
Yeah, it just kind of dawned on me here that with this new $15, $35, trying to listen to two things here at the same time. Excuse me. With the FCC's upcoming $35 to get your license or renew your license, it kind of dawned on me. Now, wait a minute. It's going to cost more than $35 to get your license if you are somebody just coming into the hobby. The ARRL requires a fee. What is it now? $15? $15 is a VE session to take your test, and then you have to pay an additional $35, $50 just to get your license. Am I interpreting that correctly? And if so, we need to yodel here, especially for the younger folks. Just that we're trying to attract into the hobby, that is completely out of reach for most of them and would be discouraging them from joining us. So any comments on that, please? AA0JK.
There are some groups that do the testing for free. So you could do it for $35 if you could find a free test.
Yeah, but I'm just kind of curious about the ARRL's stance on their $15 fee. I realize that the Lauren Patriots group does it for free, but I'm just kind of curious. I'm not a VE for the Patriots. Laurel groups only hold the ARRL VE certification. And, it's going to be a little difficult for me to maintain my currency if they're expecting people to pay $50 to get a license. But anyhow, I digress. Just kind of curious if anybody has considered this and whether or not, the ARRL should be questioned about why it is, they're going to be continuing to charge $15 to take the test when the Laurel Patriots groups do it for free, and wonder what their stance is and if they are planning on making any changes to follow the Laurel format. I mean, they are really well organized and coordinated. No paperwork, and it seems to be a very good system, and would be curious to see about what ARRL's future holds. Back to net control.
I got my license through them. Didn't cost me anything, and I took the test on a Saturday, I think, and I was in the FCC database on Monday because they do everything online. They don't send paperwork into the FCC; it's all electronic. So
yes,
it can be done.
Yeah, that's great, and I would like to see the ARRL also get in that mode and not be discouraging folks from getting their license. It's bad enough having to pay the $35, but that's an extremely good system. I know I used to go up to the Northern Colorado Amateur Radio Group and help them with their VE sessions up there when they were still ARRL based. But the last couple times I went up, they were using the Patriots Laurel system, which I got to look over their shoulder and help them out. I wasn't, certified with the Laurel Patriots groups, but they let me help, and I got to watch them as they processed those, and just like you described, no paperwork, and you have your license practically the next day. So I think it's an extremely good system, and I'm hoping that the ARRL will modify their procedure for getting a ham ticket. Back to net control.
I've been a team director for Laurel for quite some time now. Used to use W5YI and the ARRL's testing VE program, but gave them up. Laurel is so much easier, and I just totally enjoy their program.
Don't you think the thing with the league, though, they do have overhead, and that's probably part of it. I don't know much about the Laurel, but I think they're all volunteers, I believe. And so the league does have overhead, because of what they are, they do pay people and all that. And I imagine that has a lot to do with it.
About processing paperwork, if it's all going to go via the paperless system, that should bring their expenses down. So I'm wondering if that might be an option.
Well, Jeff Ryan might be the one to ask that question too.
Okay, I'm going to be looking forward to see how this all turns out.
Let me butt in there if I can, because I am a member of the Laurel group, Patriot group, and they've been retraining me to come up to speed because I haven't done it for a few years. But they even give the tests on your computer, or you can do it on a tablet, and it'll score it that way into a database. It'll score it, and also if it's a paper test, they have a scanner that scans the test and it takes about 2 seconds and it will score the test. So, they really have automated things, which takes a lot less time, and people know immediately whether they passed or not. So they really have gotten this automated, which would cut down any overhead expense And that's the reason why they can get it into the FCC so rapidly, is because it's all automated.
Yeah, I was really impressed. 4 years ago when I took my test, and it sounds like they're even more automated now than they were then.
They're a great system. Do it on Saturday. They've got their license by Monday. I've been doing it for a long time. Highly recommend Laurel.
And they've got area, in Colorado, so you can find them anytime. No, this is just Jim saying it. They have 8 places in the Denver area where they do testing, so it's easy to do, the Laurel people.
Nothing on that, but we're about 3 minutes out from the start of the meeting. John, do you have any objection if I record the meeting in case someone can't stay for all of it or wants to?
Please go ahead, record it all. My stuff is all what we call open source. Use it as you will. Just don't try to make money with it. That's all.
I'm not that industrious. Take it away, Jerry. We are recording.
Okay, real good. Well, welcome everybody. This is Jerry, W0GV.